on the Wayne Breezie Show. Stick around. Get the song in your head. Let's have some fun.
We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Ready, know that it's finest. We so faithful to the bay. We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Ready, know that it's finest. We so faithful to the bay. Yeah.
Hey, what's going on in the place to be? What's good, family? It's your boy, Wayne Breezie. Welcome to the Wayne Breezie Show. I got all kind of tunes stuck in my brain. Like, when I think of titles and I just get creative. I let the music and the lyrics and things help me with my creativity. I don't ever belong in a box. I will never, ever be able to be put in a box, and that's kind of like how I like to rock. You know what I'm saying? So thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to all the members of the Breezy Bunch crew. They're in the building. I see Jax Knox was first in the building. Hey, Wayne and Faithful, let's have a great show. Let's have a great show. Jax, my man Troy, the one and only. Good morning, Breezy Bunch. 18 days till kick off. 18 days to kick off. That's important. 18 days to kick off. Peachy's in the building. Welcome to the show. Be sure and smash that like button. That right now. Y'all could do it right now while I'm talking, getting through the preliminaries of the show. Hit the like button on the way in. Join the BB crew. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're new, feel free to subscribe. If you haven't, and let a friend know about this great 49er content. Appreciate that. Peachy, Eddie G and the Bulldogs is in the building. What up, Faithful? What's going on? I see a bunch of 49er Jeffs in the building. My man Jason Hess is in the building. My man Mike, and you asked me a question the other day, and I forgot to answer it. I saw it, though. Let you know I'm paying you attention. But I just forgot to answer the question because the show went left when somebody came on at the very end of the show that I wasn't expecting. But let me see. You asked me what flavor of liquid death was I drinking. Let me tell you what. This is the best sparkling soda water you can ever get. But this is the best flavor. It's called Convicted Melon. No, I'm not sponsored by Liquid Death. But I'm telling you, they are good. They are very good, and I actually like the concept behind them as well. So, Mike, that's the flavor that I was drinking. They got other flavors out there, but, man, it's something about that Convicted Melon, man. Grizz, what up, man? What's going on, man? I appreciate you. Shout out to all the other subscribers of the channel as well. When you are a Breezy Bunch crew, you get the highlight. And you get that highlight welcome. So that's one of the perks that you get if you are a member of the crew. Listen, I do want to give a quick shout out. I'm gonna mention our sponsors because we do have a couple of sponsors now that the season is kicking off. So let's talk about residency. Look, you guys seeing me wear one of the many residency caps that they have on their site. You can go to www.residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy and help support this brand. Residencies, you see a lot of the 49er football players rocking their caps. Actually, what's funny is I see more 49er players rocking their apparel than I do in any other sport. So shout out to the faithful, shout out to the 49ers, shout out to the fans. You guys are definitely putting this brand on the map. But listen, use that promo code SFBreezy. You can save on your purchase. And I am rocking the one and only optical wear. I feel like Zenni should get more love. All right, there's their new brand that's starting up. Check out Zenni Optical. All right, there's a link in the description of the show where you can click on it and save on your purchase. They have all kinds of new wear, and I can't wait to see what they got for the 2023 season when they're representing the 49er brand. Now, listen, they also have regular eyewear as well. But if you want to rock some of your favorite 49ers, faithful glasses, man, these are the Kittles. The Kittles have their own brand. Bam! You can see that right there. So the Kittles, that's George and Claire, they have their own brand, you know what I'm saying, with Zenni. So make sure you guys check them out as well. We got a new Oscar I hope I said that right. Or was it Alfaro? My apologies. But shout out to Oscar, man. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the Breezie's Bunch. We truly appreciate you, man. I love you, brother. Thank you so much for being a member, man. I love it. Shout out to my man Twin. He's out there in the chat as well. I see Felicia's in the building. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My man Ty, the one and only super official. Ty is also a 49er content creator. And if you're not subscribed to his channel and to his podcast, please make sure you do so. All right, Ty, if you have the ability or the option to post your link inside the comment section, please go ahead and do so. All right, I want people to go ahead and show you some love. Listen, we got a dope show. Oh no, my man Nigel is in the building. Hey, Nigel, is the song in your head? I'm just from the title, right? It Takes Two. Now, which It Takes Two were you singing? Were you singing It Takes Two, baby? I didn't know which one you were singing, but we got another new member. Shout out to my man Nigel Crane. Appreciate you. Long time subscriber, man. But I appreciate you for joining the Breezy Bunch crew. Uncle Scott is in the building. I love this. I got to give him their shout outs. My man Terrence, what's going on, bro? Snoopy, how do you do that? All you got to do is click on that join button, bro. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but if you're talking about becoming a member of the Breezy Bunch crew, there's a little join button right there, and you click on it, boom, set you up, bam, bam. If you're talking about the hat, it's in the chat. I mean, it's in the description of the show as well. And if you talk about the glasses, it's also in the description of the show. There are links. You could just click on them or whatnot. We're going to start the show off with our first. We got a super chat. Whoever does the first super chat always gets their super chat read at the very beginning. But we save the super chats to the very end of the show so we can kind of do a nice little recap for those that may join late or whatnot. But super chats, you get the foghorn. That means you've touched down on the Wayne Breezy Show. My man Gammon, the one and only, the originator, he says, Bosa paid so much will make Mahomes look cash poor. He's going to get paid. I don't know. Mahomes signed a $500 million contract. I said contract. That's a lot of money for 10 years, though, right? I think that's what it was, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody get Patrick Mahomes' contract stipulations up and things or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. He signed a big contract. But nah, whatever Bosa's going to get is going to be ridiculous. Now there is a poll question out there, and you know what? I'm gonna do a giveaway. For who, like, not from this question, but I am going to do something very special for you guys for being subscribers as well as being members of the Breezy Bunch crew. So we're going to have something going on at the very beginning of the season. So stay tuned, man. That stuff will be on the YouTube channel as well. Look, let's talk about my man K says, bring back Breezy this, Breezy that. Listen, I'm saving that for my Patreon. Right now I'm promoting a new single, Faithful to the Bay, which is out. All right, so you guys can actually get that single, man. It's out on all the musical platforms. All right, Faithful to the Bay, Lake City Fresh, Travis King, your boy Breezy. We're on that joint. We're trying to get that pumped up. The music video, we'll be shooting it week 5 of the season. I'll be out in California. That's the Dallas week. They'll be coming into Santa Clara. So we'll be shooting an actual music video to that. All right, so stay tuned for more information. That stuff will be coming out very shortly or whatnot. Let's get down to some stuff because I want to get you guys on the gosh darn show today. We got to talk. I want to hear from you. But a couple of things that were brought to my attention. You know how we do. Let's talk about the latest in 49ers, like the report. And let's start the show off with Nick Bosa. I mean, Nick Bosa is probably going to go down as... Let me pause real quick before I say that. But it's a possibility that he goes down as one of the greatest 49ers of all time. I'm going to say that. It's going to be Jerry Rice, and then it's potentially Jerry Rice, Joe Montana. Nick Bosa might be up in that tier because he is a force to be reckoned with. He's a transcending player. Like, there's no one like Nick Bosa in the NFL. I could tell you that right now. No one like Nick Bosa in it. Not even Joey Bosa is like Nick Bosa, even though they're brothers. All right. Nick Bosa's in New York. Well, at least he was on yesterday, right? He was in New York visiting his agent. Via his Instagram, early in the morning, he put out an Instagram picture, a story of him looking over the city. Looked like he was downtown Manhattan somewhere. All right. And so Nick Bosa's in New York now. People are like, well, why is he in New York? Well, that's where his agent is. His agent is in New York. And on top of that, what's going on, Cinnamon Kiss? On top of that, like, that's where they're probably reviewing the contract and going over the stipulations and things like that of the actual contract. So this is going to be something special, or something is definitely brewing. Hopefully it'll get done soon. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't, you know, I'm glad to know what's going on, Lake City. Glad to know your thoughts on that, and when when you come on the show, you could definitely talk about it a little bit if you want to touch on it. But listen, I have zero doubts about a deal getting done. The question is, what is going to be that deal? What is that number? Are they far away? Are they close? Are there stipulations? That, to me, that is the holdup in this particular contract. Like that's what I'm getting from everything. That's the holdup in the particular contract, like the stipulations. I don't even think it's the number. There's a poll question going on right now, and I do want to touch on that. And so, just so you know, right, the highest paid defensive player in the league currently right now, okay, highest paid defensive player in the league currently right now. This is per Sporting News. All right. And there's some top ones. I'm talking about yearly, is Aaron Donald. All right. Aaron Donald is set to make, he's making $31.7 million a season. So I'm curious to know what this daggone number. Now we'll get to the poll results at the end of the show. But here are the top five. Aaron Donald, 31.7. TJ Watt, who's an edge rusher, 28 million. Joey Bosa, 27 million. Myles Garrett, 25. And then my man Quinnen Williams, who some people thought that the 49ers were going to draft over Nick Bosa, $24 million. And then you got Max Crosby tied with 6, and Khalil Mack, they're making $23.5 million. All right. So I see people in the chat saying, oh, it's going to be about $35 to $40 million a year. $40 million a year. Interesting. Interesting. Do they have to go that high? I don't know. If the number's 31.7, can they go 31.8? I say round it off to a cool 32 per year, and then figure out what the big number is and how he gonna make his numbers. Niner faithful, 40 million. God dang. So look, at 31.8, he'll still be the highest paid player. 31.8, he'll be the highest paid player in the league. Craig. Speaking of Craig, breaking news, and this is not breaking news because that's not good breaking news. There's some breaking news. Apparently, Roger Craig, who was one of the 12 senior candidates, oh man, this sucks. Per NBCS 49ers, Roger Craig was one of the 12 senior candidates under consideration, but again, was passed over for a potential spot in the Hall of Fame. That's per Matt Mayoko. So Roger Craig once again gets snubbed. I don't even want to talk about it because at this point, I just don't see him getting in the in the National Football Hall of Fame. I don't see it because all we're continuing to do is produce other running backs and other players of what sort. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't even want to get into it. I don't know what he has to do, Nigel. What did Roger Craig have to do? I don't know. All I know is whatever he did had to do something outside of football. He done pissed the wrong people off. Mind you, those AP people get to vote him in. I don't know why they don't see him getting in. It's tough. It's tough. Oh, you got week one's announcers already, man. You are on it, Kurt. But hey, it's unfortunate, man. He's got to keep trying. Twin says we better not pay Nick Bosa. Back to Nick Bosa. We better not pay him 35 plus. I don't even want to talk about the 49ers salary cap going into next season, because whatever they do this season, again, it won't affect Nick Bosa's contract, won't affect this current 2023 season. It probably won't kick in till 2024, 2025 is where it'll start really affecting the cap. They'll probably even keep the number low. And maybe that's what the Niners are doing. They're trying to keep that number low for 2024. And Nick Bosa's like, nah. Like, it could be something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Anything. Like, it could be anything like that, So it's going to be super interesting. Now, I will say, to pay Nick Bosa, the 49ers keeping their quarterback room, I would say, inexpensive helps a lot. And I know a lot of people are like, hey, why would they do this? Trust me, I got a question for you guys that I'm going to pose to you when you come on the show. And I didn't even think about this. It didn't even dawn on me until today. Now, listen, Kyle Shanahan talked a little bit about Nick Bosa. He was asked about Nick Bosa, in his presser. I do have a little clip. Let's hear what he had to say.
15 days ago now, you were not at all stressed about Nick Bosa not being here. How are you feeling today?
Nothing's changed.
I know John was just saying for himself that he usually thought he needed 3 weeks of practices to be ready for week one. I mean, it's for everybody, but in your general idea, we're inside 3 weeks, we're right about 3 weeks now. Do you think it's about 3 weeks, 2 weeks? What does a player generally need?
You never know until you put him through that. So, I think Bosa's first year here, he got I think it was a high ankle sprain. I think he went like the first week of practice, and then we didn't see him again until the Wednesday versus Tampa Bay, and he played in that game. So it's different for every player. I have as much confidence with Nick as any player I've ever been around. You always want it to be more time. I wish it was 3 weeks. I wish it was 5 weeks, but not sure how many weeks it's going to be, but you always would like more.
And that's the question, right? I feel like how long will Nick Bosa need to get acclimated? I felt like I've been talking about that. That's what Kyle was speaking on. When it comes to Nick Bosa, he's definitely a different type of player. But how long will it take him to get football acclimated? Like, get back to his dominant self? There's no way I feel like he'll come in already dominant, right? And then on another thing, there's a couple of things that I feel like I'm worried about when it comes to Nick Bosa, and it has nothing to do with the contract. It's just, dude, if you can get in here, the better, the quicker the better, right? Because you need that time. We're about after this game, we'll be about 18 days until kickoff, 17 days till kickoff, roughly 3-ish weeks, kind of, if that, right? And so, is that enough time? Plus, I feel like the camp would have been so much. I feel like a lot of players could have benefited from Nick Bosa being in camp. Just even if he's not verbally teaching, just watching, being a good model. So these younger players can kind of see how it does. Even the veteran players, they can see how things go. But I understand Nick Bosa's side. I understand Nick Bosa's take. This is not a shot at him. I understand he has the leverage, point blank, period. Right? What leverage am I talking about? Defensive player of the year, all pro, sack leader, you name it. He has the statistics and the accolades to say, you guys got to make me the highest paid player in the NFL. So it's going to be super interesting just to see how much longer this drags out. I'm hoping it's not going into the football season, but there's a possibility. So I just want you guys to understand there's a possibility. It's probably slight, but it's a possibility that there's no deal that gets done until the season begins. There's a small possibility. Twin says soft tissue injuries concerns, and he helps the young guys. Yeah, man, that's another thing, right? So him not getting into football shape can allow his body to develop some type of soft tissue injuries just because he didn't bang bang with the football players. That deserves a pause. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like he's not acclimated yet. I don't know what other word to use when it comes to Nick Bosa, but I do want him to get paid. So I do want that to happen. I think the 49ers just need to say, hey. Now, we asked about them breaking the bank. Will the 49ers break the bank? What's going on, Celts? Will the 49ers break the bank on Nick Bosa? And a lot of you are saying 35 to 40, but a lot of you are saying I wouldn't give him close to even 35 a year. So this is an interesting conversation, interesting take. But the good news is he's with his agent. I think that's the most important news so far. And him, Nick Bosa, and hopefully the San Francisco 49ers making amends, right? Finding a way to find that common ground and to get the deal done. I think the deal's been drafted up. I just think they're going through the terminology and the back and forth bargaining, right? That's all it is. All right, so 49ers news. Listen, 49ers signed Anthony Miller, wide receiver, officially passed physical and all that good stuff. This was kind of reported a day ago. But here, they waived Daz Newsome. Here's what's interesting. Miller is now wearing Daz Newsome's number, 84. And he's out there. He's out there in practice as we speak. Shout out to Jack Hammer with the video clip. He's out there. He's out there running routes and catching stuff. And so will Anthony Miller just be a camp body? Will Anthony Miller force Kyle Shanahan to make a tough decision? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the wide receivers. And talking about the wide receivers, right? You're seeing the surgence of Ronnie Bell. Daz Newsome was waived. Anthony Miller kind of like replaces his spot. The 49ers have two wide receivers that are currently injured and Ray McLeod. All right. And so with them being injured, like, I'm curious to know, like, how many wide receivers make this roster. And I would love to get your thoughts out there. How many wide receivers make the roster? Now, I was steadfast at the number 6. But when I get to 6, that's where the question mark comes in. It's like I kind of get stuck at like who to pick for 6. Now, I feel like I got my sure 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post up some of your thoughts and comments. Kurt is saying 5. Corey is saying 5. My man Mike is saying 6. So when I go to 6, I'm thinking, what's going on, Corey? When I go to 6, I'm Debo. See, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, all right, Juwan Jennings. Those are your top 3, okay? And then I feel like Ronnie Bell, even as a rookie, even with a couple of mistakes, he's the leading wide receiver in preseason football for the San Francisco 49ers. I just don't see how he doesn't make this roster. That's 4. And I think Chris Conley is that veteran. That's your 5th. But if Tay Martin is having a good camp, okay, and he's playing well in the preseason, that's where the question comes in. Willie Snead is probably one of the best blocking wide receivers the San Francisco 49ers have. So, like, and he's catching the ball now, like, right? So, like that's where the question mark comes in. So I see people saying 6. My man Cole, what's going on, family? Saying 6. JP Hella Hard, 2,800. That shirt is fire. Is saying 6. My man Kenny is saying 6. No more. Possibly 6. No more. Peachy is with 6. Kurt, interesting take. I'm taking Tay over Conley and Snead. Now, all 3 guys are vets, in my opinion. The difference between, I think, Tay Martin, Conley, and Snead is Tay Martin doesn't have accrued seasons. Like, he doesn't have enough. So the Niners can work that against him, right? Doesn't have many accrued seasons. And so when it comes down to contract talk, the Niners don't have to pay him but so much. It sucks for him, but it's a great way for the Niners to keep stuff flowing business-wise. So there's a possibility they let go of Tay and one of the veterans, and you take on a veteran. I feel like the Niners always go with a vet. Now you got to add in Anthony Miller and what can he possibly do today? And that's going to be interesting. All right. What can he possibly do today? And so we're going to see. We're going to see what happens when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers wide receivers. But like I said, I want 6, but if I had to go with 5, I think Conley is part of my 5. Great one. Here we go. Debo, Ayuk, Jennings, Gray, Ray, and Bell. Like, which are the original ones, right? So now you got to talk about the injuries to Gray and Ray. And so I feel like those guys will have to make the roster. So they'll make the 53. And then somebody's got to go on the PUP or the IR. Like, something's going to have to happen. And then hopefully you can call these other guys up. I think that's kind of like what it comes down to. Like, you'll call these other guys up. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting. Conley, to me, is having probably one of the best preseasons we've seen. Who was the wide receiver last year? Veteran wide receiver. I can't remember his name. Had a tremendous camp with the 49ers and then was kind of like pushed all the way down. It was a wide receiver last year. Veteran guy. Can somebody pull that out the hat? Because I can't remember who it was. He was a veteran. He had been with other teams. He came with the Niners, and he looked amazing. And then the Niners just pushed him down the depth chart. Michael, I felt like he was a Cowboy. That's kind of like what I remember. He played for the Cowboys, not Michael Gallup. I'm thinking of the wrong name. Turner. Malik Turner? Is that his name? Was his first name Malik? Malik Turner? I feel like it might have been Malik Turner. Had a great preseason. He was fine with the Niners. Yes, Malik Turner. What is that? The reason why I asked that is because is that going to be Chris Conley? You know what I'm saying? Like, are they going to, like, Chris Conley's having a camp. We remember Trent Sherfield? Trent Sherfield made the team. Trent Sherfield made the team. and then as soon as he made the team, he got like 0 burn. So there's so many things that, you know, when it comes to the 49ers and the wide receivers, man, there's so many things that you have to pay attention to. All right. Now there's some NFL news going on out there that kind of involves the San Francisco 49ers. And I want to get your takes on it. So in an interview today with ESPN, Ray Lewis, you guys know who Ray Lewis is. Is Ray Lewis the greatest linebacker to ever play the sport? Just curious to know what you guys think on that. Is he the greatest to ever play at the linebacker position? Arguably, to me, he was. Like, don't think anybody was better than Ray Lewis, though. I would love to know who you would put in front of Ray Lewis. I know there were some legit greats, right? But listen, Ray Lewis had to name his top 5 linebackers in 2023, going into 2023. And you got Fred Warner, 49ers Fred Warner, number 2. Now let's talk about this list real quick because Bobby Wagner is number 1. All right. Who had a down season with the Los Angeles Lambs. But unfortunately, he's back with the Seattle Seahawks. A lot of people don't agree with me saying that he was the best. Wow. Interesting. I don't know, man. Lawrence Taylor wasn't he was an outside line. That don't count. I feel like that don't count. I feel like I'm talking about Mike linebackers. Mike, middle. The middle linebackers. Lawrence Taylor is one of the greatest. He might be the greatest defensive player of all time. But I'm talking about Mike linebackers. So speaking of Mike, we got Mike Singletary. Junior Seau was a problem. Patrick Willis, problem. Got to throw Luke Kuechly in there too. Problem. Like problems. But Ray Lewis, he was probably the most feared when it came to linebacker. LT was an outside linebacker, and he was a pass rusher, of course. But we can't not throw love to Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis was a monster. Dick Buckus. I see you guys go old school. Not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. All right. So are you guys mad at Ray Lewis's top 5 linebackers. I feel like he's got the top 5 linebackers in the league. Levante David, the old veterans in there. Roquan Smith, one of my favorite linebackers to watch. Do you feel like Fred Warner should be 1? Brian Urlacher. Can't forget about Brian Urlacher, bro. Can't forget about Brian Urlacher. My bad. My apologies. He was another monster. Do you guys feel like I just felt like Bobby Wagner had a decline and Fred Warner had an incline, but this is Ray Lewis's list and whatnot. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Come this season, I still feel like Fred Warner is going to surge to the top, just like he always does. And if you ask who was the best coverage linebacker, Fred Warner would be number 1. You know what I'm saying? All right, and then Stephen A. Smith came out with his top 5 NFC teams, and I wanted to go over this with you guys and get your thoughts on it. I like Stephen A. Smith. I feel like he gets a bad rap, but when he's talking about the Dallas Cowboys, he's definitely one of my faves. All right, so Stephen A. Smith ranked top 5 NFC teams headed into the season. Number 1, the Eagles. Number 2, the Niners. Number 3, the Cowboys. 4, the Vikings. And Derek Carr's Saints. Derek Carr's Saints. I don't disagree with his list. I feel like the NFC is different than the AFC. I have to put the Eagles 1. They were the best team in the NFC last year. I don't care about any stipulations or what happened. But the Niners, here's my thing about these lists now, because you're going to start seeing a bunch of the national media putting out their lists now. All I'm asking for is them to now factor in that Brock Purdy is the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and you know what he did, so show him some respect. Right now, I'm going to start standing up for Brock Purdy, because now they need to start showing Purdy the respect he deserves. He's the starting quarterback. He demolished the NFL last year in his little 8-game stint. He wins in the regular season, doesn't lose. He wins in the playoffs until he gets injured. So now it's time to start putting some respect on his name. Now, I'm not saying he's the best quarterback, but out of all the quarterbacks in the NFC, even Jalen Hurts, nobody is in a better position to be the best than Brock Purdy. Nobody. Brock Purdy has the team. He has the defense. He has the coaching. If he has all that, and Brock Purdy, I'm not even asking Brock Purdy to get better. I'm asking him to do exactly what he did last season. I know that sucks. I'm not saying I don't want to see him progress, but if he can minimal give me what he gave us last year, we should be perfectly fine walking into the Super Bowl. All I'm saying is I want the national media, now that it's clear and present danger that Brock Purdy is starting, there is no more quarterback 1 controversy in San Francisco. It's done. It's clear. It's done. It's signed, sealed, and delivered as of right now. Done. We need to start getting behind Brock, because what's going to happen is they're going to continue to say, oh, they don't have a quarterback, blah, 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 blah. They was on his nuts last year. Get back on his nuts. That's all I'm saying. Get back on him, because Brock Purdy, in my opinion, I'm not saying we'll win every game, but how will we lose? Like, how? He hasn't lost the game yet until the NFC Championship. I think Brock Purdy's going to come back hot. He's going to come back on fire, and the Niners are going to start quick and keep it moving. All I'm saying is it's time for the national media to start spinning the story and start focusing on who's the starting quarterback, which is Brock Purdy. That's all I'm asking the national media to do. And if you go back, it doesn't. I'm not even concerned about the offensive line. I know Nick Nice 21 accepting O-line. I disagree. I think the O-line is probably best for Brock Purdy than it is Trey, who's not saying he's indecisive, but they don't know if he's going to run. They don't know if he's going to throw. Like, it's tough. I think the O-line is more accessible for a guy like Brock Purdy, guy that could drop back, get the ball out of his hand quick, bam, 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 move on to the next play. Even though they look kind of shabby, the starting offensive linemen haven't played much. So we gotta just factor that in, just a little bit, just factor it in. But I do agree with Stephen A. Smith's list. So all I'm asking the national media to do is start getting on the 49ers. You talked about how great the team was. Well, guess what? Now they got their quarterback, and their quarterback is back. So now factor that in and start giving them some respect. And I think Stephen A. Smith has done this by placing us at number 2. When you look at the power rankings, we're not number 2 because of the quarterback. Well, how are we number 4 in the power rankings if Brock Purdy was better than, I would say, all the quarterbacks except 2? Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. Help me understand that. That's the shit that I don't get. Like that, I like how? I don't care who Joe Burrow is or what he can do. He ain't get as far as Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. So that's all I'm saying. Just now it's time to start understanding and saying, listen, they got their quarterback. Their quarterback is Brock Purdy. And then again, just to give people a reminder, this is what Brock Purdy was last season, okay? First in play action, first in rhythm, first in shift in motion, first with outside the numbers, and when there was no blitz, he was first. So I just want them, the national media, to get back on it. You already talked about how the Niners got a good team, but you didn't understand. We didn't know who that starting quarterback was going to be until even though Kyle still didn't mention who the starting quarterback was, we know clearly who quarterback 1 is. And how do I know? Because we're trying to figure out who the hell is the backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. Who is the backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers? Now, before we get into that portion of the show, I just want to send everybody a reminder. We will be back tomorrow with John Chapman. We're going to preview the 49ers and the Los Angeles Chargers game. So he'll be with me tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon, early afternoon, probably around directly after the show, because I have a gig, we'll do the Madden challenge, all right? So it'll be like a back-to-back type of thing. You can stick around, watch that, and or whatnot, all right? So that's going to be tomorrow's lineup. Just want you guys to know. All right, here's my take. And then I'm going to ask the question, all right? Now, you guys already know the injury report. We don't have to go through that anymore, but here's my take. So Sam Darnold, 49ers acquired him preseason. He's looking pretty decent out there, right? He's looking good. I'm just going to say it. Looks good. Looks good in practice. Look good in the games. I don't have any problems with Sam Darnold. I think our main concern is, will he throw a lot of picks? Will he throw a lot of picks? I don't know. Regular season hasn't started yet. But the 49ers, will they keep 3 quarterbacks? That's the question. Kyle Shanahan talked about this. I want to play his take on it, and then I want to get your thoughts when I open up the phone lines, and then I'm going to give my take on what the 49ers may do. I never thought about this, but this is what they may do. So let's watch Kyle Shanahan.
A number 2 quarterback, or are you going to wait till right before the game? And is that something that could rotate week to week throughout the season? How do you see that?
Yes, all that. I mean, I would think probably announce it before we play Pittsburgh, but not this game.
Do you think you could rotate throughout the week?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Sense on the order you're going to play the quarterbacks in this
I haven't decided. No. Today's a big part of that, and tomorrow. But we'll decide after these 2 practices.
Allen hasn't really gotten in much and hasn't practiced a ton. Is there a reason just to get more snaps with other guys, or is there a reason why he hasn't been playing too much?
It's just hard to play 4 guys. It's a challenge. We got him a lot earlier in camp, knowing that, especially when we had more 3s. But I mean, we don't even do really 3s now. Our 1s are consistent of 1s and 2s, and our 2s are consistent of 2s and 3s. It's just tough to get those at this time.
The
procedure will work with the third quarterback rule? Are you going to have to designate a guy, or is it just one of your 7 inactives can theoretically play?
No, I believe they sent the memo last night. I have not read through it all yet. But I believe we're going to have to designate him. It'll be a specific guy. You can't go back and forth.
Interesting. So what I got from this, first thing I got from this is that Brandon Allen's job is pretty much done. I think Brandon Allen, they'll be moving on, right? They'll be moving on. Now, as far as the 3 quarterbacks, that's where it's going to get interesting. And I see a lot of people in the chat like, we better keep 3. Shoot, we better keep 4. All right, here's my take. You ready? And I know this doesn't make any sense to everybody out there that's watching, but it makes sense in my head. 49ers can do 2 things. Everybody is saying the 49ers, all the national media is talking about how the 49ers should trade Trey Lance. And I'm trying to figure out how or why does that make any sense financially, in any kind of order. Why does that make sense? But here's what I was thinking. The 49ers, why don't they trade Sam Darnold? Or why don't they cut Sam Darnold? If the 49ers were to release Sam Darnold, he doesn't make this roster, and he gets picked up by another team, what did he do? I think Kyle Shanahan is just as comfortable with Trey Lance as he is from what he saw in Sam Darnold. And in the worst case scenario, he helped Sam Darnold get a spot, and then there's your Brandon Allen. But let me say this. If they do cut Sam Darnold, nobody else was trying to give Sam Darnold a contract. I'm curious to know if he's cut. Is there a possibility that he can somehow slip into that practice squad territory for the San Francisco 49ers? I'm thinking you don't cut Trey Lance, because the moment you cut Trey Lance, his ass is gone. You don't trade Trey Lance because you're not going to get anything in return for Trey Lance that you want to deem fit. Imagine trading Trey Lance for a 7th round pick. Imagine it. Y'all will bash Kyle Shanahan to the day he's no longer the head coach. Probably to the day to his grave. You got to think about stuff like that. So what I'm thinking is the 49ers, they may do a couple of things. They may have some tricks up their sleeve. Like they may cut Sam Darnold. I don't think it's going to cost them anything, and they can go ahead and bring him back. Remember, he's playing on an incentive-based contract anyway. And if somebody picks him up, good for him, right? He put out some really good film. Good for him. But then you could also find a way to bring Brandon Allen back. That'll be cheaper when you cut him, right? I'm just thinking of ways that the 49ers can find ways, not just to save money, but this, to me, would make sense, in my opinion. Because I don't see them doing anything to Trey Lance. Because A, Sam Darnold will be a free agent next year. And B, Trey Lance keeps the quarterback room cheap for the next couple of years. Which means you could pay Nick Bosa. You could pay Brandon Ayuk. So you got to think about those little bitty things. Why not trade? Why not trade Sam Darnold? That would be my first thing. Trade him, see what I could get. Nick nice, 21, that ain't nice. But I understand. I do understand. Trust me. Corey says, Wayne Breezie, do you miss DeMeco Ryans? No, I don't know yet. I can't answer this question yet. Because I haven't seen. DeMeco had Nick Bosa. Can I leave it at that? I haven't seen what Steve Wilks can do with Nick Bosa. Haven't seen it. I haven't seen what Steve Wilks could do with Nick Bosa. So that's my question for you guys. I want to know, should the 49ers cut or trade Sam Darnold? I'm going to put the link in the chat. Let's have some fun for a few minutes. I would love to get your take on this particular question. I would love to get your take. Should the 49ers, perhaps we're overlooking things. Perhaps the whole purpose of I feel like I added in an extra letter to that link. Let me know if that link works. Perhaps I'm hoping I'm perhaps right. But I feel like Kyle Shanahan he be Shannon everybody, bro. He be Shanahan in the world, bro. Like he got mad. He just be Shanahan and cats. Interesting. All right. So click on the link. Join me on the show. Love to get your take. I know a lot of people were saying that Wilks is sus. I can't. I can't. This is what I know about Steve Wilkes. He's pretty much straightforward. He's gonna give it to you raw. Actually, I feel like I need Steve Wilkes on this show. I need him on the show. I need him on a nitty-gritty Niners talk show because when you ask him a question, ain't no sugarcoating it. It's just gonna be raw. It's gonna be however he's thinking it, he's going to say it. There's no editing, filter, anything. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens when it comes to Steve Wilkes. And all right, so if you're not going to join the show, I'm going to take some of y'all takes out here, all right? So Great1765 says, you hold all three and try and get Allen to a practice squad. And if sometime during the season the quarterback somewhere gets injured on a contender, then you can trade Sam Darnold for a decent pick. This is a dope take, bro. The only thing about holding all three is that you got another quarterback that's not going to see time take up a roster spot. And so that's my only concern. That's the only reason. Like when the Niners last year, they held three. I guess did they have to? No, but they thought it was best. And that didn't even work out. That backfired on them. So I'm kind of weary because I'm like, damn, like which position are we going to lessen by one if we keep three quarterbacks again? That's why I was thinking if you can get one of these quarterbacks onto the practice squad. Trey Lance won't clear waivers. The moment he hits the cut, like he's too much of a phenom to clear waivers. Regardless of his limited sample size, he's too much of a phenom to clear waivers. That's why my theory is if you try to trade Sam now, see what you can get, cool, and then you know, there's no way. I feel like Allen will definitely clear waivers, or there could be some other Don't forget, the 49ers are notorious on the waiver wire. They are paying attention to 31 NFL teams and looking to see who's going to be cut. That's what they do. That's part of general managing, ladies and gentlemen. If you play fantasy football, you will understand. And speaking of that, make sure you tune in tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Peachy and myself on What's Your Fantasy. We will be going over the top 10 AFC fantasy football players, and Peachy and I are going to reveal our drafts, and you get to decide who has the better team. And here's what's fun about that. Peachy got me first week. It's crazy how they did that. Uncle Scott, you ready, baby? What's going on, family?
What's up, nephew?
Nothing.
How are you doing, bro?
Wait a minute. Let me see that shirt. Step back. Oh, the Wayne Breezie Apparel in the building. Uncle Scott, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, nephew. Ready for a great season. Waiting for all this Nick Bosa to wind itself down. I'd pay him what he's asking for. I don't care what anybody says. He's the best player in the league in my eyes. I've seen him since he was a rookie, so it's unbelievable. But anyways, so I can't believe we're having so much controversy over a second-string quarterback.
That's the problem. Yo, I swear, I got mad animated. My bad. I'm sitting here saying to myself, there's no other team that's going to announce a fucking backup quarterback. Announce it. I'm sorry. You have it. My bad.
Never in my 50 years of watching football have I ever seen this before. And you know, I'm a big Trey Lance guy, but man, really? The second string quarterback? Oh, anyhow, I hope Brock can do what he did last year. I'm all for him. I'm a Niner through and through, so I want our best quarterback to go out. But, you know, injuries are going to happen, so we'll see what happens. But
that's a fact.
Glad to be here. I've been off for a minute, but I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to be getting ready for football.
18 days, Uncle Scott. 18 days, baby.
So no, you're good. So So I think Roddy Bell is the new Brandon Ayuk. I really do. I think he's the new Brandon Ayuk.
Wait a minute. Hey, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but are you saying that Ronnie Bell may somehow allow the San Francisco 49ers to walk away from Brandon Ayuk next year?
I think so, to keep the cheap contracts. I think Debo's gonna be here, and I think Ronnie Bell is gonna take his place. That's just what I think, because of the track record. It's because of the track record.
That's a hot take. Somebody clip that. That's a hot take. I know people are gonna give us shits about that, but listen, sign me up for the shit talking. I will be there 8:45 a.m., whatever Pacific, Eastern, Central, Mountain, quadruple time. I don't know. I'm going to be there. That's a take. I'm going to stand with you on that. I'm not saying that I agree with it, but I'm not going to let you walk on that plank by yourself. I'm with you, bro. That's a take. Oh, my gosh. Uncle Scott. That's a take.
That's all I got. That's all I got, bro.
Hey, man. We love you on here, man.
Yeah, stay safe. Stay faithful to all the faithful. It's week 1 is almost here. We're 49er. Hey, one other thing. I'm going to see you at I'm going to try to be at the Dallas game.
Yes.
I'm going to try to be at the Dallas game.
Yes. We'll get you there somehow, some way. We're going to make sure that you're there so we can meet in the flesh, in person.
Yes.
All right, man.
All right, brother. That's all I got. And God bless to you and the faithful.
Appreciate you. Woo, I need a second. I gotta, I don't have any more liquid death, but I got some water though. Hold on. I wasn't expecting to scream that much. That was a take. Woo, good golly, oh molly. All right, Kurt, before I bring on Twin, Kurt says Bell doesn't have Ayuk speed. I don't even think Ayuk has Ayuk speed. I think he's just a shifty, getting open type of player. I'm not comparing the two. I'm not saying that Ronnie Bell is that, whatever. But what Ronnie Bell has done, all right, just to remind everybody, this is what he's done. Ronnie Bell leads the NFL receivers this preseason with 87 yards, which means it's speed somewhere in there. Like it's in there. It's just not straight line speed. It's more lateral, which is kind of like what Ayuk does, or whatnot. None of the 49ers. I mean, the only person with speed would have been Danny Gray. I feel like Chris Conley has that speed, but that was a take. All right, that was water in that cup. I can't drink nothing. That was a take. Oh, man. All right, let me get my man Twin on here. What's going on, fam?
What's good, man? My man said he coming in this joker hot like a
bro.
fajita.
I wasn't expecting that. I thought he was going to take off. He was like, Ronnie Bell, bam, and then drop the bomb on him. That's a flex bomb.
Hey, the only thing I have to say about Ronnie Bell is this. We got to give respect to Brandon Ayuk because of his health. One thing we had issues with on that wide receiver is just somebody staying healthy. B.A. has shown nothing but to be somebody who is available. No matter what's been going on since he's been drafted, the man, you can count on him to play. And another thing is, one thing about B.A., he go block too. And so, but I do understand the take though. I mean, the take is nice. I would hope that we expand our offense to be a little more pass happy so running Bell can get more opportunities. But that's neither here or there, man.
Wasn't expecting that, but hey, that was fresh, man. Let me get your take on these quarterbacks, though. So, we know that right now the battle has been for quarterback 2, and Kyle Shanahan is not going to announce who's going to be quarterback 2 until week 1. But he does have to put the 53-man roster together by August 29th, 1 p.m. or 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? So, what's going on with these quarterbacks, and what should they do with Sam Darnold? Like, that's the question. Like, they could possibly trade him, they could cut him, they could keep him. Those are the three options.
Well, we know first and foremost, man. The only reason why the quarterback two position is what it is, as far as this high entertainment situation, is because of Kyle Shanahan. If he didn't want it to be all of this, it wouldn't be that. I know he gets this hall pass because his demeanor, because he can have this morose look on his face as if nothing concerns him. But he's a person who, like, sets something on fire, goes around back and look and say, there's a fire, huh? And everybody be like, oh my God, look at the fire, look at the fire. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. You see what I'm saying? So, like, if Kyle wanted to stomp this out, he could have been done this. You know what I mean? We seen, 2 weeks ago, hey, the Panthers, the Texans, and another team, as far as the coach said, hey, our number one quarterback is such and such player, dead all the talk. Kyle is a veteran head coach. He could have said, hey, my number one is Brock Purdy, my number two is Trey Lance, and my number three is Sam Darnold. And the same thing that he said yesterday about, rotating the players throughout the season, he could have said that in week 1, week 2, or week 3.
Bro,
he's
playing games, yo.
It could have been solidified right then. Oh, you know what? Week 2 comes, or week 3, Trey Lance is not the number 2, but Sam Darnold. He said, hey, you know what? Just during practice squad, I just saw Sam Darnold really taking strides, and so now he's the number 2. In discussion, we could have been cut all of this stuff out.
He's not going to say that, twin.
But I'm just saying, that's how easy it was to kind of cut it out. And this is what else happens. I think earlier you was talking about the 4-letter and 3-letter network, talking about, the 49ers and why they are who they are. Well, the Brock situation would be this. You cannot, as good as Brock played, they're going to say, well, I would say this. Over the last 5 to 7 years, one thing that's been like a musical chair, it has been what? What position for the 49ers?
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback and injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was more of a solidified, like, consistency when it comes to our quarterback situation, I'm quite sure Brock would be higher, as far as saying, like, this team would be number 1. But unfortunately, our offensive line has been shaky. And so people got to take that into account. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And then our quarterback situation has been shaky. So I believe when they talk about the most prestigious position in sports, which is the quarterback, they have to sit there and take that into account. This young man only played half of a season, and he still didn't finish. He didn't run through the tape. So I would love to see him ingratiate himself from week 1. And can he stay healthy? Can the O-lines keep him upright? And then by the time, the season go along and Kyle really begin to get in his bag, I believe you will see the praise, the accolades, and the respect for what Brock Purdy did last year continue on. How you feel about that?
And I'm cool with that. I feel like Kyle doesn't praise any of his quarterbacks. He didn't even do that with Jimmy Garoppolo. He doesn't praise anyone. They got to go out there and give consistent performances week in, week out. And basically the fact that they're so young, I think they have to earn the praise. I think that's what I'm trying to say. They have to earn that type of respect or banter from their head coach. And that's why when you listen to the quarterbacks talk, like especially Brock Purdy will always come out and says, well, I'm here to do what Kyle wants me to do. And then you saw Jimmy last year push back, right? And blame Kyle for the stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Kyle wanted to run this play, so it wasn't what I wanted to do, but it's what the coach wanted. So
okay, what you about to say?
No, go ahead, bro.
No, I'm gonna say, and that's another thing why we talk about the slow starts too as well. We always say, well, what's up during the early, beginning stage of the year? We start slow, we begin to sputter, and then as the year goes along, we get better. And so I think that's another thing that we gotta take into account this year. Teams do have the ability to look at these doggone tendencies. They do get to see, okay, this is a different offensive line. We have to realize that the pressure or the expectation is different. You know what I mean?
It is.
It's one thing when you can sit there and play from behind,
mm-hmm.
but in any sport, you always know it's one thing when you're the champion. It's another thing when you're a person who's hunting. See, now, again, I think I talked about this earlier. Once before. You're the hunted, boy.
Are they, though? They haven't won. If the 49ers are the hunted, that was a dope movie too, by the way, that's scary because they didn't even win.
Uh-huh.
So like, I love that take, right? If the 49ers are the hunted, which means teams are coming after the 49ers to knock them off because they feel that that's a juggernaut and they want to get rid of them. if they're the hunted, that's some scary junk. That lets you know how dangerous of a team we are, bro.
Well, they're dangerous and they're the darlings. Come on, man. Let's be real. One thing
Darling,
about the West
darling,
Coast media, they're
baby.
not gonna be real bad and negative. Like you live on the East Coast, you know how bad the media is over there. If you had the talent that the 49ers have had over the last 5 years, could they last over there? Like far as the radio personalities and just media, they would have been killing them boys. They over here in the West, so we gonna be nice to them, so on and so forth. And so I believe now the other teams see them though. They see the skill position. They see everybody talking about Debo, Brandon Ayuk, CMC. Like, this is another year of this. Mm-hmm. Another year. You see what I'm saying? So you got 2019 to 2023. All the NFL players been hearing is, look at that NFL top 100. You know who got the most players on that?
49ers.
The 49ers.
I see where you're going.
They looking at this like, okay, here we go again. Even though at the most prized position, they're shaky. Look how everybody's sitting there on their back. Look how everybody's saying they got the best team again. Like, this is what these guys in the locker room like, all right, man, we got to do something about this. Because if Kyle ends up winning the way that he's winning, now you're going to do what I'm a basketball guy, too.
I got you.
Do what the Warriors did in 2015.
You're going to follow the trend.
Mm-hmm. Hey, this is the new trend. You can shoot threes, or, hey, this is a new trend. You ain't got to tell your quarterback you got to pay him $45-60 million a year.
I got you, bro. That makes perfect sense.
You can change the whole league up. So I think it's bigger than just what Kyle Shanahan is doing, but this could be something that could transform how people look at free agency, paying quarterbacks, and saying this is the new method we can do. Keep your quarterback room at a minimum of $20 million. We can sit here, stack all the skills position, and let's see, can we start this new wave of quarterback?
I promise you, I can't tell you what episode it was, but I said that shit and it got zero response. When you say it, I'm going to make sure you get the response. We're setting trends. I'm telling you, cheap quarterback room, keep the team stacked, pay players down. No, I don't agree with it, but that's what the Niners are doing. Now they just got to produce championships, not a ship, but a few of them joints. And then teams are going to be like, all right, we got to get rid of Kyle. We got to excommunicate him from the NFL. He needs to be exiled. He done started a monopoly over here. It's the same difference in what Bill Belichick did. He set a trend for 20 years. They contended. 20 twin.
Did you not see what he did to the NFC East? I mean, 33-7 against the Buffalo Bills. 33-6 against the Jets. Like, he literally dominated not only a division, so you iced all of that market out, and then you was a perennial winner.
Wait a minute. Look at the NFC West, bro. There's only literally one team that's I like Sean McVay, but without a super team, he can't beat Kyle Shanahan. There, I said it. But Pete Carroll is the only thorn in the 49ers side. And you're hoping he retires a year or two, because then that team is done. Like, you don't have to worry about it. Are the Niners looking to dominate the NFC West like a dynasty, like the Patriots did the AFC East, bro?
See, that's the only issue, is that with this market, with how much, this is why Nick Bosa contract is the biggest thing. But the other guys, this is the George Kittle saying, hey, I'm coming up again. Fred Warner will be coming up again. You got some of these guys saying, hey, can you keep the skill position around me for the next three? Well, not him, but for Brock Purdy for the next 3 to 4 years to build a dynasty.
I got you. Bill Belichick didn't know. He moved on. He kept the type right. He found a player that fit the type. I need this type of linebacker. I need this type of rusher. I need this type of offensive line. I don't care who. I need this type. And he kept it churning. He kept one position. And the difference between Bill is that he had a Tom Brady. And Tom Brady's greatest asset wasn't him being a great football quarterback or a great football mind. His greatest aspect was he didn't ask for money. So that allowed to keep the team together for all those years.
And not only that, though, besides his ACL injury, his availability
was on point. He got injured. He missed one season. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Out of 20 years.
Damn.
And other than that, we can't even get 12 weeks.
I'm done. That it's at some point, Kyle has to address the offensive line and make it better.
That's the only thing I would tell people now. I think our offense, this is why I was telling you earlier in the chat. I was like, if our O-line was a little more solidified, we kind of, because I think we got millions of dollars invested in the defensive line, which is, I understand, but even then, we still got little issues here and there when it comes to the running game. And then in the playoffs, we saw that we couldn't get the pass rush that we wanted to, even with all that money we got invested in that defensive line. We got to invest a little bit more money, though. Can we exchange a couple skill positions for an offensive lineman here and there?
And that's why the conversation of, not to cut you off, but that's why I think Uncle Scott said, listen, if we can get what we can get from Ronnie Bell, do you move on from another high-paid skill position in Brandon Ayuk? I don't think you should. But that's where the Niners are going to have to cross those roads. They gave him the option. You see that Nick Bosa ain't trying to play on no damn fifth-year option, and I don't think Brandon Ayuk is going to try to play on a fifth-year option, especially if he goes for $1K again this season. A lot of stuff to break down going throughout this season, bro.
And so I think Kyle could have won the way that he's trying to win if he would have expanded his offense to be a little more pass-happy, in my opinion. Because I believe this year we will see that we have an abundance of riches. And, in any team, then when you do have abundance of riches, especially in the skill position, I think you need a little more up-tempo. We are a wonderful running team. We know we try to run about 25, 30 times a game and keep the turnovers down. But with the outside weapons that we do have, man, I think Kyle, if he wants to, and if he was secure in his offensive line, he could turn up that offensive firepower as far as tempo, spreading these guys out. And, again, you put Ronnie Bell in the slot, you get Debo on the outside, you get Brandon Ayuk on the outside, you get George Kittle killing the seams, you get Christian McCaffrey coming in and out of the backfield, man. Hey, we could turn all the way up, but there's too many things that could go wrong if you kind of expand your offense like that, and then it takes the power or the mastermind or the genius outside of Kyle Shanahan. But, oh, my God, if you had a quarterback who could adapt around the third and the fourth quarter, and he could be able to see what the defense do and don't do, you have a bad man. But I don't think we got one of them on our team, or we might do, but that's a whole nother discussion.
We got to wait and see, twin. We got to wait and see. Listen, I appreciate you. Love you, bro.
For sure, man. Y'all make sure y'all sub to my boy channel, man. Y'all continue to keep that chat firing, man. Y'all peace out. Peace and love. Have a good one.
All right, brother. All right, man. Let's keep it going. CJ.
Hey, Breeze, I wanted to show off my wife's craftsmanship here. This is my new 49er helmet that she made for me.
Wow. Crystals?
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
And we're selling them. If
okay.
Anybody that wants them, hit me up. And
you gotta let them know how to hit you up, man.
And you can get yourself one too.
You gotta let them know how they can get to you. Like, where did they hit you?
On Facebook, CJ Gray. It's the same name.
Perfect. Easy branding, y'all. CJ Gray, all across the board. Facebook still popping. I don't know why people don't want to be on Facebook. I get it, the ads. I understand, but listen, it's for us. That's we still use Facebook. So go ahead and check it out. All right, man. Go ahead, man. Let's get your take on what's going on. A lot of people have spoken. We got a hot take. Do you got a hot take to start off your portion of the segment? I'm just curious.
I think my hottest take that I've been sizzling on for a few months has been the Bosa situation. Is that I think I was saying a couple months ago that I feel like it was 50-50 if the Niners was going to go ahead and trade him or not, because I don't want to trade him. I don't want to lose him, but I could see from a business side of things of how crazy this can be, because the highest paid player is Aaron Donald, and he probably wants more money than him. And I think the Rams overpaid Aaron Donald, to be truthful about it. And so what if Bosa wants 35 to 40 million a season? And what if he wants what if he wants 80% of the contract to be fully guaranteed or some craziness like that? And because, I mean, these are the Bosas, man. The Bosas play hardball with the contract. They are about their money. And so if he wants that kind of money, are we going to give it to him? Because if we do, we are taking ourselves down the road to being the Rams. I've been saying it in the chat that we're going to get rammed. Pause.
That is a possibility. That is a possibility. But I don't, for some reason. But you know what? There's nothing I can't go against that. That's a possibility. We're backloaded a lot. Like we backloaded a lot of contracts to sacrifice for a championship
that we don't have.
The difference between the Niners and the Rams, and I think this is what prevents us from getting rammed, no pause, is we're not paying quarterbacks, which is a lot of their money was tied into Matthew Stafford. The Niners moved on from that with Jimmy Garoppolo. See, a lot of people keep forgetting why they jumped up to trade up to get a quarterback. They went with the kid with the highest potential, and on top of that, they knew that their room was going to be cheap for a long time, 5 years to be exact, right? Then they go and get a 7th-round pick who's costing them $90,000. At the end of the day, they find a way to keep that room cheap, and they're winning. So they're winning. And so that's allowing them to backload the contracts and keep them from getting rammed. The money isn't tied into the quarterback as of yet. Now, if Brock Purdy keeps producing and he wins you a championship, and come year, 3, 4, it's going to be a problem.
I think when they made the Javon Hargrave move, they basically were saying, this is our go-in year, and we're going for broke. Okay. They don't get it done this year. I have a lot of fears about the team moving forward and what players are going to get moved. And I think that we could probably move Juszczyk. We could probably, I don't know what Armstead's contract is looking like, and we might got a couple people on the team that might be making, like Ray McLeod is making too much money. We got Javarius Ward. They're bringing up these young corners. Javarius Ward might be off the team coming up soon. So there's options to get some money. But, man, if Nick Bosa makes quarterbacks Dak Prescott money, we are paying quarterback money to somebody.
I think
if we give it to Nick Bosa,
I think Bosa's asking. I think he's asking for 35, and I think the Niners are saying, "What if we give you the 31.8?" Right?
Yeah, something like
right.
That's what I'm saying and it's like I honestly believe if the contracts weren't far apart, like
that's
if they
far.
were close,
God damn.
If they were close, I believe he would be in camp and stuff like that. He would be around. He wouldn't practice or anything. He wouldn't do anything. But if the contract numbers were close, he would be there. And so the fact that he is MIA totally, like nothing, like nothing. It just screams that the numbers are far. And
do you think the Niners, because the Niners are trying to figure out a way to save money and keep him, right? They're not trying to lowball him. I don't think that's what it is. I think the Niners want to make him the highest paid player. I think Nick Bosa wants to be paid. He wants to set a precedent for the position, right? And $35 million would be the richest defensive end player contract of all time. Okay, but what if the Niners, they have very little leverage, CJ Gray, but they do have some leverage, and their leverage is they're going to check his injury report and they're going to go through it and they're going to break it down and diagnose. I'm talking all the way back to Ohio State and play the what if game. What if this happens again? And you can do that because he has a report. He has a history of being injured. This is why some fans didn't want the 49ers to draft Nick Bosa because they thought he might come in with his injury history from the Ohio State, and it hurt the Niners. We were tired of having hurt players, right? I believe Kyle Shanahan on that take said that Bosa got injured his first year, which is possible, and the reason why he only had 9 sacks that year, or 9.5 sacks. But I don't remember him being injured because he was such a dominant force when he was out there on the football field in 2019. So there's a possibility. And then the next year, he was out for the year. And then after that, it's 15.5 and it's 18.5, and it's just he's off to the races. So I'm thinking maybe that is their only leverage. Oh, and it's not much. It's not much.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to be able to use that injury against him, but they're going to kind of try to do it because it is true he has missed an entire season before, and he got hurt at college too. But he's just been so dominant over these past couple of years that it's kind of hard to hold any of that against him. And I just think the Niners they're devoid of leverage, and the Bosa got a bunch of money. He don't care about those game checks like that, probably. I mean, family rich.
Now, if he didn't care about them game checks, he'd be here. He cares. He cares because he wants to be the highest paid Bosa. So he cares.
I'm talking about holding out for.
Oh, like if he doesn't show up week 1, he probably. You're right. Yeah, I mean, the contract has to be right in order for him to step on the field. The contract got to be right. It got to be what they have agreed on. And so, like, I see Team Cali saying, is he wrong for wanting that? $35 million a year? He's not wrong. Hell, he could ask for 40. Yeah, he can ask for 50. He's not wrong for wanting it. He knows he's not gonna get it. Hey, listen, if I'm starting a contract negotiation, I'm starting high. I'm starting the highest I can think of.
20% higher than what I really
want. You know what I mean? Is that the rule? 20%? I didn't know that was the rule. I just go high. I'm starting high. So I'm starting high, and then we gonna kind of hopefully we get to the number that's really in my head. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm not saying he's wrong for wanting what he wants. I just think that which portion of the fact that he factors in team, winning it all, having the opportunity to win it all, having the opportunity again. We just went and addressed the defensive line to make your job a tad bit easier. Not sure how they're going to prepare for you, but hopefully you have to focus attention on him because he's going to be dominant up the middle. So hopefully Bosa does break that sack record. And then here comes the incentive, CJ Gray. You break the sack record, the 49ers sack record at 22.5. We give you an extra bam, bam, bam. Like, that's the type of stuff that they're probably also trying to work out in his contract. So this is tough, man. This is tough. Tough.
And we discussed the Bosa contract, but I've been on here for so long, I ain't have time to transition. But we got a problem. We got like 8 top 100 players on that list. We got all these potential Hall of Famers. We got our brand name is about as well known as it was in the 80s. We got all of these things going on. We got coaching trees coming off of Kyle Shanahan. And
facts.
We got all of the hallmarks of things that happens with a championship team, and there is no ring. And
that's the issue.
And that is looming over us like it is looming over us like anything, like nothing else before over this franchise. But is all the success with no ring.
But that's not the skilled player's fault. That's not those big contracts. That's not Trent Williams' fault. That's not Nick Bosa's fault, who doesn't have his contract yet. That's not Fred Warner's fault. That's not Kyle Juszczyk's fault. That's not Deebo Samuel's fault. It's none of their faults that the quarterback can't stay healthy on this team. That's the issue. The issue is Kyle Shanahan hasn't been able to win because he hasn't had a healthy quarterback. Even if you go back to Jimmy Garoppolo, unhealthy, just remains unhealthy. And that was the issue. And so Brock Purdy gets hurt. Trey Lance is gone. Damn, Josh Johnson threw one good pass. I'm like, oh, shoot, we still in this game. Yes. And then after that, he said he saw dead people. He was out. But my point is, that's the issue, which that might not even be the issue. The issue might be what Twin was saying. The issue could be the offensive line. But here's the thing about the offensive line. Kyle doesn't covet the offensive line, bro. Like, that's why. Why? Why do you think he doesn't covet the offensive line? Let me see if you can guess what I'm guessing in my head.
Maybe he thinks the money should be allocated elsewhere, or he believes his scheme, or he believes the scheme is so good.
That's it.
That he doesn't need it.
That's it. He expects his quarterback to get the ball out of his hand in what? How many seconds? Because the guy's gonna be open. Throw the ball to the spot and let the guy make the play on the ball. That's why. That means the offensive line technically doesn't have to block that long. It's when the plays have to develop. And that's why Trey Lance has been struggling, because what is Trey Lance trying to do?
He's trying to go downfield.
Because that is his game.
Longer developing plays.
That's his game. That's who he is. That's who he has been. Play action pass. I got 4 seconds, 5 seconds. Bam. I'm throwing it down the field. Somebody just go get the ball. That's Trey. Now we're trying to force Trey Lance to do what Kyle needs him to do, which is fine. He has to learn how to play the quarterback in this system. You said system. So Kyle Shanahan, it's a bang-bang play. It's a quick throw. Get the ball out of your hand. And it's always when the offensive line has to do more than what they're supposed to do. That's when they start looking like shit. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I don't like it because the Eagles are going to contend all the time because they got one of the best offensive lines. Hell, the Kansas City Chiefs. Even Patrick Mahomes gets hurt, but he's a phenomenon, so he's different. But at the end of the day, if Kyle doesn't covet that offensive line, that may never get fixed. There's one position he needs. Two positions Kyle needs for the offensive line to work properly. Left tackle and center.
Well, it's offensive line, but in the Eagles championship game, I can't say that the offensive line was the issue. It was Kyle Shanahan's game plan in the Philadelphia game.
It was the scheme.
It was a scheme because really what we normally do, what our bread and butter, what we do, we would have beaten Philadelphia down if we would have just stuck with run Christian McCaffrey, quick screen game, and
which
stuff
they
like
did
that.
after.
but that's what Kansas City did to him in the Super Bowl.
Which we did. We continue to do it. Remember Christian McCaffrey, he scored the touchdown, bro.
Yeah, I seen him running right in.
I mean, he literally and I'm like, okay, maybe it was a chance. Then there was a turnover. That's what happened. Josh Johnson throws an interception or fumbled.
He fumbled. Yeah, he fumbled.
And they gave him the ball right back. Right.
Yeah, he fumbled a snap.
And so like that to me, like Kyle thought he still could be in this game if the quarterback could come in and manage the game plan. Unfortunately, Josh Johnson couldn't manage the game plan, ends up getting a concussion, and we can blame the offensive line for that. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of like what happened, right? I do agree we need to upgrade the O-line in some sort, but I think that's another reason why they're able to keep the team full of talent is because they're makeshifting the offensive line through the draft, right? They'll go grab a piece here or there and then draft, and they're hoping that these guys can develop into something. I still think Spencer Burford is going to be phenomenal. I still think Aaron Banks is going to be phenomenal, but they're young. They're young. They're so young. They were raw, like young and raw, coming into a team that's has to win. And so like, it's like just being thrown into the fire. Hey man, you're on a team that can win. I need you to start at right guard. You're on a team that can win. You're going to sit a year, but next year I'm not paying him. You better be ready to go. And they step up to the plate. Felt like they did their thing. We haven't seen them play one regular season game yet with Trent Williams, and haven't seen them play a preseason game with Trent Williams. So I will say I'm going to give the offensive line a small pass until maybe week 3 or 4 when they start building that continuity. They got to figure it out, just like they did last year. They were treacherous week 1 in that rain game, but they were good in run blocking. Ask me how I know. Elijah Mitchell was chewing that ass up till he got injured. So the offensive line isn't bad. They just need time.
I think the offensive line is going to be okay this year because, I mean, if you look at the past few years, how often have we come off of one season to the next where we got continuity on the line from most of the players that played on? Because the only player that was replaced is McKivitz over McGlinchey.
That's it.
And McKivitz was on the team. And so he actually was on the team, and he actually played in some spot time. So 4 of your 5 guys are returning starters. And so they should get that continuity together quicker than last season, because I think that was a big deal, because you got to look at, I think Banks was his first-year starter. And,
first-year starter. Burford, first-year starter. Brendo, first-year starter. Exactly.
And so these were first-year starters in the interior, and you saw a lot of plays that won't execute it properly earlier in the season with run blocks. I've seen so many film breakdowns where, man, if this block was made at the right time, we're springing it, or if this block, and then you saw later in the season as things got together, you saw bigger run plays and saw plays that came together better. And so it's just all about Kyle Shanahan and his schemes and his play call, and when he calls it. It's also on the quarterback to understand that they gotta get rid of the football and so forth. And so I think that's because you look around the league, there's hardly no outside of the Eagles, and maybe nobody really has a dominant offensive line.
Yeah, it used to be Dallas. That offensive line is old and gone, and I think it's the Eagles. I think the Eagles just have a dominant offensive line. They were able to bring guys back. That's kind of what it is. They're in it to try to win it again. But that offense isn't that quick throw type of offense. They kind of cater to what Hurts does. Hurts is trying to get the ball down the field, so he's letting plays develop. That's kind of what I see from Trey Lance. Remember the year we played the Eagles? What did Hurts do? We were in Philly. He was trying to get the ball down the field, remember? That was Diamador Lenore's rookie season. Remember, he got burnt a couple of times in that game. Quez Watkins, a couple of players. Like, they were going at us, and Hurts said, F me running the ball. I'm trying to throw the ball down the field. He needs time, but he has the luxury of having an offensive line that will allow him to do so. I think the Niners don't have that luxury, which gives me another theory about Trey Lance, but I'll say that for another episode.
And then this is the last thing, and so we had got enough time, is your QB2 thing. Eric Crocker made a big-time statement that I
Shout out to my boy E. Croc.
I think, and he's right dead on. If we only need a QB for 2 games because of a Brock injury, then Sam's your guy. If we need a QB2 for, if say Brock has got the season injury or it's a 10-week injury or something like that, then you go with Trey, because then you can give him back-to-back starting games and get him the reps, and then get him to have time to build up to become better during that time period, then giving it to Sam for that long period of time. And then he'll start seeing ghosts and all this other stuff, start throwing to the other team and doing all that stupid stuff that he always be doing.
Spot on, because I remember on the show, I said that Sam Darnold would be that contingency quarterback, right? The emergency guy, right? And that's the difference. When people ask, remember, backup quarterbacks. See, so Sam Darnold may just be the backup, because backup quarterbacks, their role isn't to be the starter. Their role is to come in and be a Band-Aid and hopefully keep your team from being any worse going forward for the next. Now, if he gets on a roll or whatever, he's winning those games and he doesn't look just like a timid quarterback out there, there's a possibility he can go into that role. But I like that analogy from Eric Crocker. That kind of makes perfect sense if you think about it. And it makes more sense why Kyle will keep 3 quarterbacks too, which takes up another roster spot. But at the end of the day, you have to be prepared. There's levels to this, and you have to be prepared for all 3 levels. So you go in with the starter in Brock, you got your emergency quarterback in Sam, and then you got your longer plan quarterback. If you're going to be out with the quarterback for a season, you go with Trey. That's kind of dope.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. I think that makes perfect sense. But that's pretty much all I had. I was actually able to be on long enough to cover every point.
I appreciate you. Shout out to you and your job for allowing you to do the lovely things that you're able to do. And again, make sure they hit you up. You let everybody know in the chat where they can go ahead and hit you up, man. Shout out to your wife, man.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
You have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Excellent. That's it. Shout out. I got to give another shout out. Newest member Nigel Crane, who came up with the idea. From now on, the name of the call-in segment is going to be Hot Takes. Now, what you got to do is you got to call in with a hot take. That's the only way I'm going to let you on. If you don't have a hot take and you get on my show, you will be kindly removed. I'm just playing. But nah, hot take call-in show. I like that. Nigel, you the man. Let's go. All right, guys, we got a couple of super chat contributions I want to get to, but before there were a few questions out there that were asked, and I kind of want to get to those questions. I hope I starred the ones that I was able to see. Let's see. I got two of them. My man, Great One, says, where did they go? Oh, man. Yo, this junk is bugging. He says, Wayne Breezie, what do you think of trading Ayuk for a first and with one of our first-round picks, draft his replacement in Malachi Corley? That kid is a mix of Debo and Ayuk. I tell you what, send me a link of his film, his film and stuff like that. Let me check him out. I don't have any familiarity with Malachi Corley, but as far as trading Brandon Ayuk for a first, look, if Nick Bosa ain't willing to play on his fifth-year option for $18.5 million, I don't expect Brandon Ayuk to play for $14 million. These guys want to get long-term contracts done because those contracts come with guarantees, as far as their health and different things like that. So I think that's most important. Will they trade him? There's a possibility. Can Ronnie Bell be that type of guy? That's a possibility. We all just have to kind of wait and pan out to see what happens. There's a possibility. You can't say that Brandon Ayuk's a lock if he plays himself off this team in a good way, meaning that he prices himself out. Let me say that. We watch players do it. Players have such great seasons. The Niners have a number that they're going to pay, and they're kind of stubborn on that number. So I thought that was a great question. And then how is 61 on the offensive line? So I'm currently trying to figure out who 61 is. But I will say that my sleeper offensive lineman is number 60. He's a guard. I haven't played guard. His name is Ilm Manning. I know that's not who you're talking about. Jason Poe is 51, Team Cali, so I'm not sure if that's who you meant. Now, I want to apologize to everybody that gave a super chat, and I may never ever wait. I'm telling you right now, I'm never waiting to the end of the episode to do a super chat again. Today's the last day. If you give a super chat, I'm going to read it right then and there. I do want to apologize because somehow StreamYard and YouTube weren't in sync properly, and though I had them in my queue to read, they were supposed to be in the queue to read. They're no longer here. So I do know if you gave a super chat, right, and I didn't respond, just don't give another one. Just put your comment right now so I can see it. I'll put it up. I do know there was one from Jax. I believe there was one from Miss Cynthia and Peachy. I know there was those three, but I felt like if there was a super chat given, please just restate what you said so I can pull it up. I do apologize, but right now they're gone. They're no longer in the queue of the super chats. All right, so I do apologize. It's not my fault. I didn't delete them. I didn't erase them. It's just that for the longest, I didn't even know how many people were watching on YouTube because it wasn't showing. So there's some type of technical glitch with that. Let's get to the poll question while you guys do that. All right. Now, the poll question is, now that you've got some context from what these defensive linemen make, all right, I'm curious to know, what will be his yearly salary. All right. And so we're going to go ahead and break that down. Let me end this poll real quick. Bam. See, that works. That works. All right. So here we go. Nick Bosa will be the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. What will his yearly salary be? The choices were $31.8 million, $31.9 million, 32, even 32, or greater than $32 million. 37%, 141 votes. Had a lot of votes. Appreciate you guys for interacting with your boy Breezie and just doing something in spot of, opposed to just commenting in the chat, the live chat. You guys said greater than 32. Greater than 32 million. So you guys, if it's 32.1, 32.2, 30, anything greater than 32 million, that's going to be his yearly salary. I'm not mad at it. I think the 49ers need to pay him, but I think they have a number, okay? They have a number. All right, I got some stuff. Eddie G and the Bulldogs, he gave a super chat. I'm going to give the foghorn for Eddie and all the other super chat contributions that came in. What up, Breezy? Mike said something last night, and I agree. If I was Steve Wilkes, I would be knocking on John Lynch's door saying, where the F is Bosa? Listen, Steve Wilkes took this job because he knew he had the greatest defensive player in his arsenal. And right now, he doesn't have the greatest defensive player in his arsenal. Okay? So Steve Wilkes came out and said it's out of his pay grade and he ain't in it. If his name ain't Bennett, he ain't in it. So that's the deal. I'm sure Steve Young is saying stuff or whatnot. I'm sure he is. I mean, Steve Young. I'm sure Steve Wilkes is saying things probably to himself, but it's unfortunate he is without a Nick Bosa as of right now. And again, this is between the front office and Nick Bosa. Even Kyle Shanahan said he expected it to go this long and longer. He's about that life. So we're just gonna have to kind of like chillax. Cinnamon Kiss said, thanks for the idea yesterday. I'm going to wear a Bosa jersey today. So John Chapman on the John and Wayne show on his channel, 49ers Rush, he's going to be, I wore a Nick Bosa shirt on yesterday because it's time. It's time for Nick needs to know it's time. And then John's also doing a Nick Bosa jersey giveaway on the day that he signs his extension, all right? And then Jax Knox says 17-0. Take Pittsburgh. My birthday in 3 weeks. Hope y'all going in. Now y'all got to help me celebrate in Pittsburgh for her birthday. So she's going to do a birthday celebration in Pittsburgh. You guys are going to want to be there. There it is, right there. Thank you so much for the contribution. Guys, we're going to be doing the Madden show on tomorrow. My gamer tag for Madden is Wayne-Breezy. Wayne-Breezy. Same way I spell my name here, just got to put a freaking hyphen in it, you know. I haven't been playing it lately. I've just been working on my Ultimate Team Madden, but I'm down for a game if I have the time. So that's my joint. Wayne-Breezy. Shout out to Peachy for holding it down behind the scenes, making sure I stay updated with things. Appreciate you, Peachy. Again, this is her birthday week, so happy birthday to Peachy again. Celebrate for the rest of the damn month. You know how we do. Cinnamon Kiss is 17-0, period. You got to put the period on. Nigel Crane, yes, tonight will be the fantasy show. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a fantasy football draft with my my brothers that I grew up with. It's tense. So it starts early and it probably won't end until about 8. And then we'll get on tonight and we'll have some fun. PG and I have a great show planned for you. And always drip. Yes, Madden 24. Next gen too, please, guys. Please make sure you're on the next gen. But guess what? It's cross play. So you can have an Xbox and we can have it done. Not hashtag. Man, let me spell this shit for you, though. Come on, man. Look. It's going to be this. I'm going to put it in the comment section so you can see it. Wayne-Breezy. Simple. Dash. Not hyphen. I mean, not. Yeah. Man. Chiefs fans. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for a great show. Again, we'll be back tomorrow. Wayne Breezy show with John Chapman. We're going to be previewing the game. Los Angeles Chargers are coming into town. I can tell you what, we're going to put out that charge. I'll leave it at that, man. Love y'all. Stay up. Stay faithful. Listen. You got to find a way to stay faithful, man. I'm telling you, season hasn't even started yet. Stay faithful. It's most important. And if you need help with your faith, just tune into one of our shows. We love you. We got you. We'll hold you down. Stay up, guys. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. Peace out.
I be sipping gold bar, whiskey on the rocks, and a 24 karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping non-stop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. Wayne Breezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. Wayne Breezie, the 4-9 preacher.